You're welcome to Women in Sustainability Stories, a virtual series dedicated to amplify women's voices, experiences, and narrative as they contribute to sustainability. We aim to spotlight the efforts, inspire positive action, and encourage continuous learning for sustainable world. My name is Anita Fori, the co-founder for Women in Sustainability Africa. Today, I have here with me Patricia Bekeo, who is a seasonal professional with over a decade of expertise and combining her marketing skills with her passion for environmental sustainability and climate justice. Patricia is the founder and executive director for the Odaibia Foundation, a nonprofit advocating for health, climate change, energy transition, and women empowerment. Patricia also serves as the administrative secretary for 350 Ghana, reducing our carbon, playing a key role in fostering collaboration within influential network. Patricia also affiliates with non-profit organizations such as Africa Coal Network, Africa Climate Movement of Movements, and among others. Patricia's love for sustainability, from what she does, you can actually tell she's very passionate about making the world a better place. I'm very happy to have here with me on today's series. Hello, Patricia.
Hello, Anita. Thank you for
Please,
having me.
you're welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. And you?
I'm well too. Thank you so much. Today is pretty straightforward. We want to know how you develop so much passion for environmental sustainability because you've been doing tremendously amazing within this industry, and I want to know your journey, how you started, how has it been for you as a woman? Today just tell us everything.
Okay. Thank you for having me once again. And also thank you to your listeners or your audience for taking time to also listen to my story. So where do I begin from? So
How did you start? I mean,
yeah, so I started when I entered level 100. That
okay.
was somewhere in 2011. Um, I don't know, but I have always had that passion of helping people. So even my family will tell you, "But the crowd, so it's
Oh
something
wow.
that has been part of me since I was growing up. And so, and when I was growing up in a barracks, so I grew up in a barracks, and at a point, at that time when I was growing up, you see that when young people graduate or when they finish GHS, that time, because the salary structure was not really good, it was a bit difficult for, if your parents can afford it, you can't go back to school or better your education. And so that passion started from there, where I remember I used to tell my peers that sometimes you don't really have to depend on your parents. You have
Yeah.
finished GHS, you are waiting for your results. What can you do? Better yourself. And so when I got into the university, I first joined the campus groups, which was called ISEC. And
Okay.
ISEC does a lot of community work. So we go into the community, look at identify a problem, and then together with the community, we make sure that we give solutions to it. And then after I joined ISEC, I remember there was then SIFE as well, Students in Free Enterprise, which is now inactive. So I wasn't a member, but I used to go and sit in their rehearsals and laugh at the tonation and pronunciation of my friends, because they had a different structure where after they are done with the project, they need to come up with a project reports, and then they have to kind of recite or memorize all the projects they did with the problems they found, the solutions they gave, and how many people it has impacted. And so, and they do that rehearsal because they will have to go for, it's like a competition. And so from
Wow.
different schools, they bring them together to compete. And we do that presentation in front of corporate CEOs who come as judges to also pick ideas and pick talents for their organization. And so I used to just go there and laugh at them, laugh at my friends on
Your
how
friends in there.
they are pronouncing some of the words, or how the tonation in which they are using, because of, how our cultural differences is. So one time the president was like, you are always here laughing at your friends. You will recite some. I want you to read this script and you have to say it. So normally you read it, you memorize it, you put the script down, and then you recite it word by word. And so
Wow. What's the
they
script
gave,
usually about?
pardon?
What's the script usually about?
So the script is about the project that you have done. So the
Okay.
problem
Okay.
that you identify, what led to you going to that community, and what solutions did you give to the problem in the community, and how many people it impacted. And the
Okay.
difference between ISEC and SIFE was that, or Enactus now, was that Enactus was looking at the 4 Ps, which is the people, planet, 3 Ps, people, planet, profits. So when you go to the community, you need to first identify the problems. You need to engage with the people. And whatever solutions you are giving should align with what the people want. And then in doing that, you also need to think about the planet. What
Yeah.
solution, the solution you are coming up with, how is it impacting the planet? And then you also have to look at the profits aspect, because, of course, I mean, as young people, you can start having innovative ideas and not think about profit.
Think
So
about, yeah, social
those were
enterprise.
the 3 things. So one time they just made me, and I did it, and it was like, you are not going anywhere. And I remember you have to buy a form to apply for, to be part of SIFE or Enactus. And I said, I will not buy that form. So after they made me read it, they were like, you are not going anywhere. So I ended up becoming more active in Enactus, and I became one of the project presenters that was going to do presentation on our projects during the competitions. So that was how it started. So every year, every Enactus year, you have to go find a community, look at the problems, and come up with innovative ideas or solutions to that problem, and you go back there. And that time we didn't have like funding. They don't give you funding, so you also have to find a way of getting your own funding. And that was why even we were buying forms so that the organization can get funding for its operations. And some of the projects that we did too was sponsored by the school. The school helped us get some of the things to be able to make that impact in the community. And the project had to be in a community around your school. But I think now it has gotten to a point where students in SIFE now move even away from their communities to different, a far community to have their projects there. So that's how it started. So whilst I was in SIFE and I was in Enactus, and also doing my academics stuff, I was a course rep for 4 years. Nobody wanted to take that position. So, I mean, I sometimes I tell myself, I don't even know how I managed to do all that. I was also part of the data bank. Data bank had it's a data bank something school club, in the club that teaches young people about financial literacy and all that.
Okay.
So I think after I joined in school, that was in 2011. In 2012, a friend introduced me, a friend who was in ISEC. introduced me to 350 Ghana. And so I joined 350 Ghana as a volunteer in 2012. And through 350 Ghana, I was able to do a lot of projects with them as a volunteer. And then gradually, I moved from being a volunteer to being the person in charge of logistics. And then I moved from the logistics to being the administrative secretary now. So that's how my journey has been. And through that, I was able to also get the opportunity to start now doing volunteering for other organizations in Ghana and also outside Ghana, and which has also contributed to my growth.
That's really interesting. You seem to be a very passionate young lady because you have the drive. Having that drive, I know it's not easy for a lot of people. What keeps you going?
Well, what keeps me going is I always tell I tell the girls I mentor that when you are growing up, you have to look at where you are coming from. And when I say where you are coming from, I'm talking about your family, the background you are coming from, even the environment you grew up in. You need to look at that. What drives me is the fact that I mean, growing up, I had a not really, really rough childhood, but I still pulled through. Because when I entered SHS, my daddy died, and I had to, be jumping while I was a border, but I had to be jumping walls to come and sell to support my mom so that I can pay my fees. And because I had other siblings behind me, and it was just her. So when you look at where you are coming from, you build, you make sure that you build yourself to be able to have that drive to make a better person out of you. Because when you know where you are coming from, if somebody is coming from, let's say, a family with a silver spoon, or that person was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, you cannot compare yourself to such a person. So it means that even in the kind of friends you take, you need to know the kind of friends you take. And that doesn't mean you should take friends that are maybe also in your level. You can take friends that are way above your level, but you also need to have that. You need to know how the personal relationship goes, so that you know that when you go into trouble, it will be easy for their families to take them out, and you will be in trouble. You will still be in that trouble because you will not have anybody. So you know where you are coming from. And then the next thing is you need to know where you are going. Growing up, my passion was to become a journalist. A broadcast journalist. And I thought, people who were saying, oh, go and do nursing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I can't do that. And then I ended up going to do a diploma in journalism, which I still didn't work with anyway. And I changed my path to do business administration, and I majored in marketing. So, and it took me time from the time I completed SHS to the time I went to the university. So that's why I say that know where you are going. Because I completed 2004, but I went to the university in 2011. And I knew where I was going. So irrespective of all the jobs I did, I worked in hospitality, I worked in restaurants and hotels, and made sure that I saved towards my university. So if you know where you are going, you have a clear mind, you have a clear aim, you know that this is the goal, and you keep your eyes on the goal. And you make sure that you are working towards it. Aside that, naturally, I'm somebody who is, when I put my mind to something, I put I'm passionate about it. I just make sure that I don't start something and not finish. I make sure that whatever I have started, I have to finish it. Even if I finish it and it was not up to the standard I was looking for,
Yeah.
I know that at least I got to a place, and then I'm able to analyze what I did wrong, what I did right, and make sure that the next time I do it well.
Wow. Like, I'm already inspired, honestly. Like, I'm already inspired. Wow, that's a very good positive attitude you have right there. So let's go back to the project. Can you tell us some project that you've embarked on that impacted positively into the various communities? That yeah.
Yeah, so um, let me just touch on just some recent ones that we have done. So we have some of the projects that we've done mostly is on energy transition, which is we are focusing on pushing for decentralized renewable energy in Ghana. And so most of our project has been on to pushing for renewable energy, especially in the rural communities. And one of the things that we did last year, projects that we did last year was we went to a district in the Savannah region. It's called Domangri. It's in the Sola Tuna Kalba districts, where they have about 52 communities without power. They have not seen light before.
Here
And
in Ghana.
yes, here in Ghana. And out of the 52 communities, we went there to just power one community, which is a 65 household community. And we powered each household with a solar panel, mini solar panel that has the bulb connected to it. And then it also came with like a torchlight that you can just remove when you are going out to in the dark. And then when you come back, you just plug it up back so that you will be able to charge. And we did that to power 65 households. And also for the first time, we powered their school, which is a junior primary school. We gave them a solar street lights, which was from our feedback, they are telling us that now the kids are able to go back to the school during the evening to go sit under the lights to study. And from the interaction with the teacher who actually reached out to us, she said sometimes they give the children homework and they come back and they've not done it. And when you ask them, they tell you there was light. So that's one thing that we've done. The other thing we did last year was to do a solar kiosk on wheels for the old Fadama. The old Fadama is situated around the Mokola, not Mokola, Agboboroshi, where the side that is the dumping side for the e-waste material. So we went there to engage with them, and they were like, oh, we've been seeing this thing, but we add it to the scrap thing and we destroy it. We don't know that maybe we can still use it or something. So we do training. We did a training, capacity building training for them on how to even assess the solar panels they get, how to check whether it still has certain lifespan, and if they can also remanufacture it to their use. And out of that, we did a solar kiosk. We actually did it from scratch. We had one of our volunteers, who is actually a lady and an architect, put the design together, and then we made a carpenter put the whole kiosk together for us. And we have another volunteer who is an electrician and a solar engineer, also puts together all the wiring and the solar panels and everything. And we put it together and we took it to the people. And that solar kiosk can actually power, like the big sound system that we use to do funerals and stuff. They use to charge their phones. They also say they connect their cutting tools, the big cutting tool they use to cut the metals to it when there's power out. And Old Fadama is not like a community that has no lights. They do have lights, but majority of them are illegal. So they are connected illegally. So even though they have power, they are not actually paying for it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we use that to educate and sensitize them. We've had a lot of projects with schools. We call the renewable energy for schools. We train school children on how to build their own solar bulbs using the simple gadgets they find around themselves. For example, the container, the plastic containers we put our shuttle in with just small solar cell batteries and the normal electrical wires we see around us. So those are some of the projects that
You've embarked on.
we've embarked on.
These are huge projects.
Yeah. And with my foundation and also being a gender person, one thing that I also do with the women and my girls is the empowerment bit. So there's this project I call Crafting Change, where we talk about issues on health, reproductive health. We talk about the causes, symptoms of ectopic pregnancy. So I actually started Odeibia Foundation to actually advocate on issues related to ectopic pregnancy. Because I had 2 ruptured ectopic pregnancies in the span of 2 years. So I wanted to use that platform to be able to encourage and educate people, especially at the grassroots level, because I was in the city. I had access to, private hospitals and big government hospitals in Accra. So I was putting myself in the shoes of the people in the remote villages who, even when they are actually pregnant and they are going to deliver, it's a big problem to even get to a cheap compound or to a health facility. How do they even notice or see the symptoms? What would they have to look out for? And so I started that foundation to do that. And because I'm also in the climate space and also a gender advocate, I added those components to it. So the Crafting Change is like a community advocacy where it's not like the normal talks that we do the talk. We put the women in round tables, and then we have health personnel, midwives that are on my team that sits with them on the table and discuss reproductive health issues with them. And whilst we are doing that, I have a project coordinator who is into livelihood. She does beading. So we teach the women how to do simple bead techniques. They make their own earrings, the bracelets and the necklace. And then we have another person also teaching other people how to make the headbands, the fascinators, and there are certain names they mentioned that I don't. Yeah. So they do all those training, and we are looking at upscaling it because we are getting some people that are interested in also training some of the women and the girls in how do you call it, pastries and other forms of trade, whilst we do the talk on health and even how climate change impacts their health, especially their reproductive health. And it also helped me because I also got the chance to sit just with the young girls without their mothers and fathers there. And I was amazed the things that they were telling me, and girls as young as 11, 12 had to live with guys or men just to be able to get money to afford sanitary pads. And so and these are some of the things that also keeps me going. Because when I go to the community and we do this project and you see the smiles and the joy in the faces of the people, it's unmeasurable. You can't just measure it. It gives you so much fulfillment to the fact that you have been able to solve an issue for a community, or you've been able to assist somebody get the things that they actually need in their communities.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's really like, I don't know how to put it. For girls to go as young as 11 years, 12 years, 13, to sleep with a man, to be able to afford a sanitary pad.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
I don't know what words to use to describe this.
Yeah. So I'm developing a project that is looking at engaging the teenage mothers in these communities in becoming. So we are going to have like a trainer model
Yeah.
where we train them in various trades and then
Very,
set up like a training center in the community
yeah.
so that they will now train the young girls
The
or the
young
other young
to
teenage
do that.
mothers as
Yeah.
well in the trade.
Yeah, because lately the young girls really need a lot of mentorship. They need
Yeah,
people to show them the way for them to be able to do the right
exactly.
things. And I
Exactly.
think you're really doing a good work there. Thank you so much for what you do. And also going back to the energy transition, I think if you look at our current renewable energy transition framework, you could tell that the government or Ghana to say is very much interested in energy transition,
Yeah.
of which solar is really key. So for you to be doing projects around that, I'll really say you're doing a very good job, tremendously well. And having been, I'm very surprised to hear that 52 communities do not have like
Yeah, 52
here
communities. So this year we are even
52.
planning to actually go empower about 3 of the communities um this year. So we
Wow.
are,
And are you
because
doing
I
this in
think
partnership with the government, or how are you doing
no,
this?
so this this
Okay.
this is just as the organization. I mean, and then also with the support from our partners from
Okay.
global, as in the US, and then in the African team that helps us to secure funding for those projects. So what we do when we partner, I mean, when we are partnering with the government is it the communities we go to, we ensure that we get a rep from EPA or the Energy Commission coming to also educate the people on
Okay.
on environmental issues and then energy issues and what the people are doing to contribute to it and what they can do to also mitigate it. So those are the collaborations we have so that they will kind of do the capacity building, have that talks with the people. But when it comes to the actual the solar panels and everything, that is from us.
Okay.
I think
And also they mentioned you.
I think last 2 years we powered a secondary school in Kukrantumi. So that it's a St. Paul's Anglican Senior High School, a senior high technical school. So they had a technical department. They had a department where there were students learning they were renewable energy students. So they had
Oh,
students, yeah, and we went to power their 2 classroom block with a solar. And they said they mentioned that block has been left vacant for a long time. When it's prep time, they don't go there because that site's electricity power was cut off because the school couldn't was not able to, I mean, foot the bills. So they had to
yeah.
just take some part of that side of this. They use it during the day, but they don't go there to do prep.
During the evening.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then we went to power. And then the good thing, I mean, the interesting thing was that we used their own students, the solar engineers students, to actually power their block. So even though we went there with technicians to do the students themselves did all the wiring in the classroom, went up the
Oh,
roof to put the panel. And these are some of the things that we are looking at, not just we going to do it, but also empowering the young generation who actually are learning skills in that area to be able to also learn the practical aspect of it.
that's really good, and it's even more of like a teamwork, or you even empower the girls with, or the students in there with the right skill that they need. It becomes something more practical for them, because even aside of country, we do a lot of theoretical in
Yeah,
school. So when you go into the schools to have, it's more of a practical. They're actually seeing what they are learning, which is a very good
exactly.
exercise. I mean, well done, you and your team. Well
Thank
done,
you.
so
Thank
well
you.
done. So I'm just wondering, as a woman, Patricia, how have you been able to thrive in this environment? Going to communities where I know sometimes it's either the mindset is either a cultural barrier. How
Yeah,
have you been able to make it, and what keeps you, like, going in this direction in towards driving sustainability?
yeah, I know. I think last month an old, mate, my old childhood friend, um, I went to his office and we were talking and he was asking me about all these things that I do. And he was like, in fact, we never knew that you could talk like that or do the things you are doing, because we didn't even see you to even be in that space. Because I was that shy, quiet type. Even when I know answers to questions, I allow myself for the teacher to beat me and not answer the question. I prefer to get beatings than answering the questions. And so he was like, I am surprised that you do these things. And I feel like it was there, but it needed a push. And I think I got myself into the right um, groups on campus. I got myself into the right organizations that pushed me to actually come out from my shell. But moving on, it's also a very difficult sector to be in, especially when you're a woman. It means you are
Yeah,
competing with men. Um, you are competing, even, let me put it this way, I'm competing with people with masters and PhDs in the
yeah.
energy field, in the environmental field. And if I tell you, I am just a marketer, but I have learned to do this over time. And so it means that you have all these challenges, you don't know it. We have the degrees or we have the masters. Let us lead, and then you follow and you do your thing. But one thing that has kept me going is that once I know that I don't know this thing, with the help of the internet, I make sure I learn. And I take advantage of a lot of um, short trainings and short courses in the environmental space. Sometimes I will see that they are calling for participants and for trainings, and they'll give an age limit of 18 to 30. And I ask myself, are these people serious? Why will you cut those of us above 30 off? And I sometimes apply to, so I keep telling my members that when you see this thing, don't let the age limits, but it shouldn't push you away from not
Eh,
applying. I apply unless I don't have interest in it. I will apply for it. And there are some I apply and they actually don't look at my age, and I still am able to get in and have that training. That is what has been pushing me to learn and to understand the space that I am in. Aside that, of course, as a team, you have differences here and there, which also happens. But I mean, most at times when you are dealing with a lot of people, you don't really have to attach a lot of emotions when you attack a lot of emotions, you let your emotions cloud your judgments, or you let it cloud whatever message you want to put across. So whenever I encounter these issues, whether with my team, whether in the community, I make sure the first thing I tell myself is breathe. I breathe, I calm myself down, and then I'm able to think straight on how to approach that problem. The other thing too that helps me is the fact that, I mean, aside me doing sustainability, I'm also a music lover. I don't discriminate in any genre of music. When I used to work in Papaya, I have a radio on my desk, and I'm always playing music, even though we were not allowed to play music in the office. But I think as time went on, they got to understand that when I have the music on my desk, it actually helps me work faster. It helps me think faster, and it helps me to finish my task on time. So over the years, when I have issues on the field, I have issues in the communities, I have issues with my team, all I do is I'll just sing you a song. So my colleagues will say, Pat, the oyen idea, I'll bet to actually says, yeah. And that's what I used to, do to keep me going, so that I don't let my emotions cloud my
Yeah.
judgment, or let I like bottle my emotions, and then I'll kind of start to think about this person has done me this, and then I keep those things. I don't know how to keep those things. Once we have a problem, I mention it. I tell you, this is what you did. I don't like it. Or we should do it this way. We should go this way. We should do that way. And that is it. I take it out of me. Because I don't want to give myself emotional stress.
You don't want any drama.
So I just do. So it's just simple things that I do to keep me going when I encounter these issues. And of course, one of the challenges also has to do with managing that work life in that space, in the environment, and that of the house and the married life. It's
I'll
a
never
bit
come to that. Yeah, tell me about it.
it's a bit, sometimes it's frustrating, it's difficult, it's I don't know how to put it, but I I think that over the years I have a partner that is really understanding. In fact, he pushes me to be the best of me. When I have issues with my colleagues and I come back and I'm complaining to him, all he will do is breathe. And then sometimes when I tell him something and I'm expecting that he will actually give me a positive advice, he will rather chastise me and then tell me that I am not supposed to agree with you. I am supposed to let you know you're wrong so that you better it. But still, it's a bit difficult, because I think my other sister asked me, she keeps asking me, how do you do it? Because every month you are saying you are going here. This month you are here. This month you are here. Are you not afraid that one day you come and somebody else is in your home? And I tell her that my husband knows the work I do. In fact, even if I get an opportunity to maybe do a speaking engagement or go for a meeting outside, and I tell him, I'm thinking about it this month, I feel like he'll tell you, reply to the email and tell them you are coming.
Wow.
Because he knows and he understands. He has also been in that space before. He has also been in that space, so he understands the dynamics in it, and it works for him.
Yeah. I always say it's always good to have the right people around you, people who also kind of appreciate what you do and understand what you do. In that regard, you're able to work in synergy, you're able to work well
Yes,
together. But
yes,
assuming there's no understanding, it becomes chaotic because you move around a lot. You're always
Yeah,
outside Ghana, within Ghana,
yeah.
globally, almost everywhere. So
And
that's
yeah, no, I told my sister that, I mean, he also works, he also moves around a lot. His job is sad that he has to do a lot of movements.
okay.
So I
Travel.
said, so all of us, I told my sister we are both roaming ambassadors and we understand ourselves.
That's
I mean,
that's right.
you see, last month I went for a program in Togo. I came back on Friday. He also left on Saturday and he's not back. So we just do that roaming. It's sometimes, I mean, it's it how do I put it? So when you have kids, it becomes a bit challenging, especially when they are young. But thankfully, my kids are, my daughter is now in first year, doing nursing, and my boy is in SHS too. So they are teenagers. So I'm able to, I mean, we are able to breathe and do our roaming ambassadorial work.
Oh wow, that's why you're not doing any babysitting and all of that. Because
No.
usually for young career women, if you're about to have children or you have younger children, there's kind of a career break of about 5 years.
Yes.
So if you have more children, it's about 7 years. You can't really do, but if you really want to pay attention to the children,
Yeah.
you can't really do much within that. But Pat, I just remembered this. Haven't you been to cops? Can you tell us a little bit of what you your current
Mm.
cop you've attended? How's the
Okay.
conversation been? Like, let's know what you do there. Yeah.
Okay. So I think 2 years ago, so 3 years. So my first COP was in COP 27 in Egypt. And I went as an observer. So I mean, when you are an observer and it's your first time, if you don't know how to navigate your way around, you just go and you be roaming around and you still come back empty. So that's what happened the first time. But I told myself, if I'm going to go again, I am going to make sure that I participate in something. And so I was able to get training, and I got into the negotiation room as in the gender negotiation room. So the first time I was in the gender negotiation and also capacity building negotiation. And the negotiations are, how will I put it? I tell people that it's just like our politics. It's just like doing politics in Ghana. Party A says this, party B says this, party C says this. In this instance, the big countries that are emitting the most, who are supposed to actually pay for
Of
reparation
course.
and
Yeah.
pay, yes, and pay for the damages, who play politics around it and also try to swerve the commitments. And so it goes back and forth, and then you have to be drafting things. So last year at Azerbaijan, for the gender, because I do the gender negotiations, and when I come back, I write my reports and I give to the lead negotiator for Ghana to add to his report as well. So last year, in the gender negotiations, there was the enhanced Lima work program was ended. The enhanced Lima work program was developed to, by the UNFCCC to encourage more women in the climate negotiation process, and also has its gaps that is also looking at empowering women at the grassroots level, that is in country basis. So each country has to go by the Lima work program to be able to empower the women in the country, and also at the grassroots level, and also be able to push more women to having interest in the climate negotiations. So the one they drafted was a 5-year plan, and it was ending last year. And so we had to go back to decide and draft in the text whether we are maintaining that 5 years or pushing it to or extending it. So they actually, the draft text that came was that now we are putting it in a span of 10 years, but we'll have to have assess it after 5 years, look at the gaps and look at, what is going right, what is not going right, so that we can be able to adjust or make an adjustment to it moving forward in the next 5 years. So it's actually a 10 years now, but with a 5-year assessment of the plan. The other things that also went in the negotiation room was on the issue of having a gender disaggregated data or sex disaggregated data. Now, when you come to Africa and our country, we know that, when we talk about gender, gender is inclusive. So we are talking about men, women, people living with disability, the youth and everything. But when you go into the Western world, when you put the gender out there, it also has the rights of the LGBTQs and the plus people. So for the drafts of the Lima Work Program and the documents that have been drafted over the years has sex disaggregated data, which is either you're a male or you're a female, because that's what you were actually born with.
Yeah. Your
Yes.
gender by birth.
Exactly. So these two things became a very big issue in the gender room, and it's one of the things that really prolonged the negotiation, because some countries, especially the African countries, were against it, that will have a gender. When they are drafting the text, every word that is put in there has a meaning and has implication. So if it doesn't align with the values of your country and you sign on to it, you come back and you realize that you didn't do your country good. So countries we open our eyes. There are times that countries will be debating whether we should put is or are.
Yeah.
And we can sit on is or are for hours. So it becomes, that's why I said it's like politics. This will say this, this one will say, no, it doesn't go against it goes against my country's blah, blah, blah. This will say, no, we have to consider the human rights aspect. We have to do so. And it's a bit tedious, it's a bit boring. If you are not passionate about it, you get there not again.
Yeah.
But for the first time that I went into that room, that was in COP28 in Dubai. And I started hearing certain things, certain jargons. I came back and I did a lot of research. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to now have my career path to climate diplomacy. And like I said earlier, once I put my mind on something,
you go for it.
I go for it. And that is what I am. That is what I am doing. And it's a very nice place to be, the diplomacy stage. It makes you understand a lot of things that goes into especially the climate issues. And you can actually not be a climate or a grassroots activist without understanding these diplomacies. Even for you to do your work on the ground, you need to know that the work that you are doing should align with what your country is doing.
Yeah.
Yes, that is why when we are going to do the Solar Star, we make sure we engage EPA, we engage Energy Commission, so that we know where our project is aligned, because Ghana has signed on to the Paris Agreement.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and so even as CSOs, we need to know what we can do or what we are doing and how is it feeding into the national agenda.
Yeah. So, haven't you talk about crafting your career into climate diplomacy? I'm a bit interested because a lot of people wonder if you can actually pursue sustainability as a career. Are there opportunities in there? Like Patricia, tell us, are there opportunities? Where what do they need to do to get there if they want to have a career path in this area? Where are some of the opportunities? I mean, like, what do they need to do?
Okay. So, like I said, I mean, I'm not even in that stage yet, but I have been
Yeah.
able to learn over time. I am now even applying to do my master's, and there's a lot of courses in the space that you can carve. So, like I said, I'm carving my career path to climate sustainability. And
Okay.
so for me to even do that, I need to now learn, even though I have learned over time on the job, I still have to do the theoretical parts and be able to really understand it and align it with the 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 practicals that I have been doing over time. And so you can have when you do something like a climate and environmental sustainability. There's a part where you can be a consultant. You can look at being in the climate diplomacy part, which is having you to have in all the UNFCCC negotiations, and also every negotiation that has to do with climate issues and also the environmental issues. There's also you can also be an environmental scientist, where you can look at when it even comes to food security. So let me take, for example, you see now that especially in our Galamsey site, the lands have been destroyed, the water
Yeah.
bodies have been destroyed. When you become like an environmental scientist, you are able to have go to these lands that have been destroyed. How do we as scientists come up, see what we can do to how do you call it, to repair the soil, to repair the land, so that it can be of good use for agricultural purposes? How do we purify the water? How long is it going to take? So there are a lot of career paths in sustainability,
Yeah.
depending on where your passion lies. My passion lies in climate diplomacy, and my passion lies in talking about issues when it comes to gender. And so that is where I'm carving my part. And even having in talking about issues that is gender. Most of times, I don't want to say like in Ghana, but most of times when we mention gender, what comes in mind is women. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that when you mention gender, it's actually women, men, people
Women.
living with disability, the youth, and everybody that is vulnerable. It's just that over the years, we have acknowledged that women forms the most
Majority.
part, yes, the majority of the vulnerable group. And that is why when you mention gender, we put our minds to just women. And so there are a lot of career paths in the sustainability space. If I say I'm going to even mention, I mean, when you look at all the SDGs, if you are taking career paths, if you are saying that I'm learning sustainability, just take the SDGs by one. Clean cities. If you are going to, if you take a part in sustainability and you want to have clean cities, or you want Ghana to have a proper plan cities. You can be working in the, how do you call it, even in government, the part of government that looks at town planning and all that. How
Yeah.
do you, as somebody that has the skills, the experience, how do we plan our cities? And in planning our cities, you now have to consult the one that has also done something in sustainable energy. How do we, in building new cities, how do we inculcate sustainable energy? into it?
Yeah.
How are we able to encourage people or how homeowners to start putting solar panels on their roofs instead of maybe depending on the national grid? Or
Yeah.
how
So we
can
can
they
have more
even,
green homes.
yes, how can they even have a 50-50? Because you can actually have the solar panel and feed it into the grid. And so that when the grid is not in session, you can just switch to your solar. So how do
Yeah.
we do that? So if we want to look at the career path, I mean, we can just take the SDGs one by one and we see that there's a lot of path in it. And I'm very happy that I think for the past 2-3 years, I think now I've seen a lot of young people starting to have move into the sustainability space, because I think they have now seen the importance of having to do that. I think for years it has been activists shouting. I've been doing this for so many years. When even Legon started masters in climate and sustainability, I kept saying, "Oh, I'm going." Last year I applied. I was told that, oh, they are. I mean, they have sold to capacity to the extent that now they even have to have two classes, which is the regular and the weekend, which, I mean, yeah, and they were even doing some online sessions. So this will tell you that now people have seen the need for them to enter into the sustainability space. And the fact that they have seen the need is because they also know that they can cap, there's a path where their careers can go. But what I'll say is, even though um, some people might want to go there because they feel that is the career that is booming now. Just like when I was growing up, everybody that finishes SHS wants to go to nursing school. Of late, I have noticed that a lot of people are going to do law. And I keep
Yeah.
asking myself, if all of us are doing law, who is going to do the rest? Who are those going to do the rest of
Good job.
things? And so the fact that people have now started seeing the importance, and I mean, it's a plus. It's a plus. I'm just praying that this year they should leave a space for me.
There are lots of young ones coming up with the speed you just mentioned, and I'm happy to hear that lots of people are now more interested in studying um sustainability, things around climate change. I mean, it all helps us to make the world a better place. So, in my quest, I hope organizations are also getting ready, because the point would also come where we have a lot of our students who are coming out
Yeah,
and all they want to do is sustainability.
yeah.
Organizations, how ready are we in
Yeah, that's true.
incorporating sustainability into our business? So I think it will be an action call for organizations that will get to listen to us. Let's incorporate sustainability into our business. As Pat was speaking, you did mention about how we can even, put on solar panels, on our buildings, to our business places, our homes, wherever
Yeah.
we find ourselves, our churches, so that it can actually help reduce the costs that we actually incur when we have to pay for our electricity. And even be surprised to even know that even now the taps, the bills, I mean, they're so huge. Can't we do borehole? We can go
Mm,
through borehole. So I mean,
exactly.
to reduce some of these costs. And let's see how we can also harvest rainwater into our bed. I'm really very happy having this engagements with you as someone who really loves driving sustainability. Your works around renewable energy is just amazing, and your work around girls empowerment, women empowerment, helping women in health. I mean, it's you can just imagine how many times would they get the opportunity for people to come and speak to them about their health. But some of these people, they don't even go to the hospitals. They don't
No,
even go for
no,
5 years. They
no.
don't even go. They don't even know what's happening in their system.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the work you do yourself and your foundation. I mean, it's a great privilege, and I'm happy to be connected to you, honestly. What advice do you have for the young girls coming up? What's your one advice, one, two advice for them?
Well, to the young girls, I mean, to how do I call them? To my girls, my young
Yes.
girls, what I always tell them, or what I'll tell them, is that have a goal. Make sure that you don't leave that goal unattended to. Have a goal, push and carve a path, and ensure that you are able to attain that your goal. Again, you might be going through a lot of things, because I know, like I said when I started, that we are not all born into wealthy homes.
Yeah.
If you are starting like me, make sure that you have that tenacity. Do not let anyone or anybody come in between you and that goal you have set. If somebody is coming in between you and that goal, it means that person should be someone that is going to be supportive. That person is going to be somebody that is going to support you achieve that your goal. And also make sure that in doing that, have the passion for it. Because if you are doing something and you don't have the passion, you do it haphazardly. It's just like these days, you see organizations say, we employ these people, and then we have high employee turnout, because when they come, they are not able to perform and we have to let them go. If you don't love what you do, you will not be able to finish it. And for you to meet, or for you to achieve that your goal, you have to have that passion. Even if it's difficult to get up in the morning and do it, you still have to do it, because there's a goal at the end of that tunnel that you need to meet. And that is important. This is something that I tell my young girls. I actually have the Young Green Guardians projects, where I'm training young girls between 15 to 21 on issues on climate, environment, health, and I'm giving them the will to actually see within them, just like somebody saw what was in me and made me start presenting and took all the shyness away from me. I am doing that for them to also start their sustainability journey at a younger age. And I'm doing that for them. I mean, I'm not like limiting you to be an activist. No. Tell me what you want to do, even if it's not in the sustainability stage. What do you have passion in? How can we develop that passion and make it a reality? So, for example, my daughter is a climate poet, and she writes her own poetry. Recently, I took her to a program organized by CDK in Ghana, and she translated 2 research work into poetry. So these are the part that I want to also carve for young people, so that they will be able to have a clear path in, and also be able, once the path is clear, they will be able to see their goal and the steps they need to take to achieve that goal.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you so much. We've already taken much of your time already. And it's been a very wonderful conversation with you. Thank you for making time and joining us on today's podcast series. And I'm very grateful to you and your team for making time for this. So thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank
So
you,
thank you
too.
all for joining us to this empowering journey of Patricia's incredible story. Where driving positive change and sustainability, we cannot do without it. So let's all continue to amplify our voices, champion efforts, and work together for a more sustainable and equitable future. If you haven't followed us on our social media, please do want to follow us on all our social media handles as Women in Sustainability Stories and Women for Sustainability Africa. We're on LinkedIn, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook as well. It's Women for Sustainability Africa. You find us on all the social media handles. Just follow us for more education to come up. Just remember, the power to make a difference lies within each of us. So until next time, stay inspired and take sustainable steps forward. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.